Welcome to Change, sponsored by the Senior Bond of Schaumburg, where nutritious meals, friendly peers, and social activities are available every day of the week. Under the able direction of Marina Lvovich, the cost and location are available to all. Bonnie Carlin is on sick leave, and I am Lori Candle. And our program today is going to be about tradition. And first, I'd like our panel to introduce themselves.
Carmen Ramirez from Lima, Peru.
Barbara Adrianopoli.
And Gloria Meyer.
And two people are from the Bonn, and Barbara has been a member of the Schaumburg Library, recently retired. Well, I think many of us can remember Zero Mostel as Tevye, the milkman from Fiddler on the Roof. And he had a very strong belief in tradition. In fact, he had that song tradition that really has become quite popular. His tradition was based on sort of a family cycle. Okay, Papa was the master of the house. Mama had to take care of the house. Sons had to learn a trade so that they could support a family. And the daughters, they had to mend and to tend, but also marry. And then the cycle began all over again. So his tradition was really basically family. What does tradition actually mean to you? Barbara?
Tradition means a teaching that has been passed down through generations. And it was a way of telling a story about your life and about the life of the people with whom you live, like your ethnic background, your smaller family of what they believed in. And before, when there wasn't any written language, the stories passed down told the stories for everyone. So that's what it means.
So you're really saying it's the beliefs and the way of lifestyle that is passed on.
Right.
And do you find that common, since you're from Peru, do you find that that has happened in Peru also, as well as in our country?
Yes, it's almost the same. We go through something that they've been done for generations, and we keep going. Our parents to teach us how to do things in certain ways, and we have to learn and teach to our kids so they can go on with that. But even though in my case, my personal case changed because I'm coming from a different country, in here our neighbors think different. And the kids, they marry to different traditions. So we are a mix-it-up and compromise one to the other with all the respect.
But you were able to do it, and now you're Americanized.
Yes, and I'm still doing my own tradition, and my kids marry to Americans, so I do both.
Okay,
Nice.
that's very good. And you're sharing with your neighbors, and you're sharing with us, and we're learning. How about you, Gloria? What is your take on it?
Some of those traditions were really, really good that you passed down. They were fun, and there were good things to do. But some of them weren't that much fun. I mean, like the Chinese were arranged marriages. That wasn't such a good thing. That, would you like to marry somebody that your parents said you should marry? No.
Sometimes I think it would be good that I would arrange my daughter's marriage.
The way marriages are going nowadays, yeah, it would be good to be able to pick out someone for your...
Well, they usually say love is blind, but the neighbors ain't. And we can see, well, that's true. Some traditions are not as, what would you say, as wholesome as others. But do you think they're important in our life? What do you feel about that? Should we have them, or?
Yes, because the dances, look at the Irish jigs, they do theirs, and the other people da-da-da-da-da-da, like he did in the movie.
Yes.
Polish dance is a Polish hop, and Polish Yes, that's fun. That's fun.
And it's a way of sharing too, isn't
Yes.
it?
I also think it's a way of preventing danger and things bad happening, because you would teach the children what plants are okay to eat, what aren't. You teach them what path to go on and what not, and what path should be, not to go on. And so it also, and what to eat. And so it is also a preservation way.
So you're saying that there are benefits that
Yes, there are.
derive from it.
A lot of food traditions.
Yes.
Yes.
But the negative, like she said, sometimes we live in our own ethnic world, and it's been passed down, you don't talk to this, or like the McCoys here in the United States, in that folklore. Well, it wasn't
If you're
quite
fruiting,
folklore.
fussing, and a fighting.
Yes. And so sometimes what we believe about other ethnic groups or about some things is not so hot.
So we have to really be careful and selective in what we want to transfer on.
Yes.
Because I think people look at us and we are an example to the world. And these customs or traditions that we pass down become very important not only to us, especially you coming from another country. Did you find that it was difficult at first for people to understand you since your traditions were different?
Our tradition is related with the family, the closest family. Since I got my kids, my husband, my brother, my cousins, my mother passed away in this country, so I have 60 people from my family here. So it's like a little town. So I don't have to teach them what to do because they know the tradition.
Okay.
So the problem is when you start passing up to the next generation, because it's when it start the mixes and go on, you know.
Right. Well, I think we can finally say that traditions are very, very important in our life. And Henry James says it takes an endless amount of history to make even a little tradition. We'll take a short break and we'll soon be back. Now that we've established that tradition, it is, and it's a call to mind, but I have a tradition of my own. As you notice, in the second segment of Change, I always put my hat on. But it also brings to mind the story of a young Irish lad named Paddy. And it seems that Paddy had heard stories of amazing family traditions. And it seems that his father, his grandfather, and his great-grandfather had all been able to walk on water when they reached the age of 18. And they each walk across the lake to go to the pub on the other side of the lake so they could have their first legal drink. Well, Paddy was waiting for his 18th birthday to arrive, and he was very excited when it came. So he and his friend Mick got in the boat, and they decided to just row out a little bit. And when they got a distance from the shore, he was going to walk on water because it was his 18th birthday. And if Dad did it, Grandpa did it, and Great-Grandpa did it, then he should be able to. Well, he put one foot over, and before you know it, he was sinking. And if it wasn't for Mick, he would have drowned. So Mick pulled him into the boat, and he was so upset. Why? Why me? You know, everybody else did it. Why not me? So, of course, they rowed back to the shore, and right away he went to his grandmother's house. And he says, Grandma, he says, it's my 18th birthday. Why can't I walk on the water like everybody else? And Granny looked at him in his blue, troubled eyes and said, because your father, your grandfather, and your great-grandfather were all born in December when the lake was frozen, and you were born in August. Well, I certainly hope that your traditions aren't based on weather, but did you have any traditions that have been passed on in your family?
I have weddings, Polish weddings. They were just wonderful. They after they do a dance around you, and they take off your veil, and they put a apron around you with babies on it, and this is supposed to be good luck. They're changing from a wife to supposedly you're going to be a mother, and so that's one of the things they do that really is beautiful. I like it.
That is really
Yeah.
interesting. I'm Polish. I never went to a Polish wedding. Now, you're Polish. You should.
Oh, no, I'm Irish.
Irish. Oh, well, pardon me.
My husband is Italian. What is don't they put money in the apron
Yeah,
too?
they do.
Okay. What is the root for that?
Give you a good start on your household, on your family. Just like throwing rice. Rice is,
That's
we
another
don't do that
tradition.
anymore. None of the.
Yeah.
Because not allowed to.
Yeah, the poor birds.
But that was supposed to be that you always
Okay.
had food
No,
and
because it's
were.
dangerous to walk on
Nice.
it.
Right, yeah. Well, there were many reasons
Right.
for it ecologically and that. How about you?
But there is one tradition that is in my country where they celebrate your birthday. We celebrate our birthdays on the same day. It doesn't matter if it's Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. You can stay up up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, dancing, drinking, and eating.
Whoa.
And you got to go to work at 8 o'clock, no matter what.
Well, you know what this tells me? It tells me why she loves to dance.
Yes.
Yes, I do. I do. And what we do is we teach the kids since they are little how to dance. 98% of the population dance. It was in my time, 50 years plus ago. But now we are losing a little bit that part because boys, they don't want to dance anymore.
Oh.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
Polka for
So it's a
Polish
little
people, the
change.
jig for Irish people, that just don't want to do it anymore. The kids don't want to
It's
do
a
it.
shame. It really
It
is,
is.
Barbara.
yes, it was a good exercise.
I was just thinking about a holiday that's coming up that Karen Chataverdi, who used to be the manager of the barn, I was going to go out there last year and then we couldn't, but this year I might get out there. But this weekend is the Feast of Holi, H-O-L-I. In the Indian population and tradition, they build a big bonfire. And the princess, who's the king's daughter, she has this special cloak. And he said, put his son in this cloak. He didn't like his son because his son was kind and nice. And so the princess didn't want to do that, so she put the cloak and saved him, although she burned, because kindness and niceness is the same with the feast that we have, St. Joseph, kindness and nice.
That's a nice analogy right there.
Right. Everybody has their stories,
Right.
and they're to teach those lessons.
Now, are there any personal family ones that you pass on that you hope your children will remember and do?
Well, my kids, yes, I have 4 kids, and we teach the tradition, and they do it. Yes.
They do. They follow
yes.
the tradition of your
Tradition,
country.
But the thing is, they're married to Americans, so now it's a combination of both
Right.
traditions.
Well, the toast. When you toast somebody, that's a really good tradition. You get up
Yes.
at a wedding and say something about the bride and the groom, or for us, it's Thanksgiving. Have a toast to your health and everything. I think that's a good thing to do, and I find that my children are doing that. They like that.
I think so too. I like to bring the traditions to the grandchildren. We were talking earlier about the traditions that we learned mostly in the manners area.
Oh, yes.
That we try to pass on, like when an older person walks into the room, you get up, you offer your seat. And that I hope stays. And I think it doesn't matter what your ethnic
Right.
background is, you have that, how a child acts with an elder. I think that's a good tradition.
You know,
Respect.
it's a nice thing that you mentioned manners, and I think this is something that really has to be explored. But modern ways of yesterday are the tradition of today, and the modern ways of today may, we hope, become the tradition of tomorrow. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Okay, we saw that tradition's a very important part of our life, and it keeps the past present and brings people closer together in many shared experiences. Even at the Bond, we have our own traditions, and we have announcements, and then we have singing of God Bless America, and then we have food exactly at 12. And heaven help us if something comes between bingo. That is almost a religion, but we'd love to have everybody join our traditions. Our country also has many traditions. What traditions can you recall that we as American citizens have?
And a soldier dies, they put the flag across the casket, and then they have 21 gun salute, fold up the flag and give it to the
Widow.
Person, yes.
Which is, I love that. I think it's
I
great.
just recently found out that each fold of the flag means something different, so that's why it's so meticulously done. That's a good tradition. I didn't even think of that.
The tradition of standing, and if males have caps on, taking the cap off for the
Respect.
all the respect and for the Star Spangled Banner and for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Correct.
And you hope they continue that.
And that all stems from the tradition of the honor and respect that we have for our country. It's not really idolatry or anything. It's just showing respect for something that we love. Can you think of anything else that...
Oh, nothing comes to my mind
Right.
at this moment. But I like it, whatever it is.
Every athletic event, almost every
yes.
seventh
Right.
grade on, they play the anthem and
Yes.
and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Right. Well, we really have an awful lot of, traditions from our country, and I think we can even think of parades for certain events. We're celebrating holidays now.
Fireworks,
And
yeah.
Fireworks, yes. And like now it's St. Patrick's Day coming up, and it doesn't make a difference if it's from Ireland. Everybody is Irish.
It's a good luck to celebrate,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. That's it. I think that's one of the traditions we can look at in our country. We like to celebrate. And celebrate, we do. And I think we'll celebrate very much if the Cubs ever win. Okay. All of these started way back when our country was very, very young. And I think they've carried on through the years there. Can you think of any major holidays that have become really traditions for America?
4th of July.
You've got it. You know, that was the thing. Great minds think alike. I was just thinking about 4th of July. There are just so many things that we do on these holidays. Can you think of any others? That's one of my favorite, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
we celebrate
me
it at
too.
home too with, with the
Right, but
kids to teach them what to do and how to learn how to respect the country, Even though they are coming from a different fathers from one country, mother from another country, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You need to respect the place you are in.
Right. And I think
Nice.
that's carried over even into the Olympics when we have people winning there and doing different things, showing respect while they're receiving their gold, silver,
Yes.
or bronze. Okay, any other holidays that we have?
Easter, and it's taken on a different role.
A secular.
Right, we were talking about the Easter eggs. Is it Ukrainians that have
Yeah,
those
beautiful.
eggs, those beautiful eggs that they're gorgeous. I hope they pass that on to their kids.
Right, right.
They are very expensive too.
It's expensive, but those are
hand-painted,
traditions.
yes,
Yeah,
hand-painted,
those are
yes.
traditions we hope will remain. But I think that more or less will have to be with the family passing that on and the willingness of the children to actually do it. And as you're right, Easter has become very, very secular.
Yeah, and the Day of the Dead, our Hispanic population celebrates that, whereas it's the Feast of Good All Souls. And so it's somewhat celebrated, but not like the Hispanic population.
Right. Well, I'm thinking of Columbus Day. And how could
Yeah.
we forget Columbus? I think a lot of the holidays, though, that these traditions that we used to do seem to be fading.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll be able to bring them forward and, learn a little bit more about them.
We've added new emphasis on it. I was just thinking about this the other day. Christmas. Okay, we don't say the Christmas tree. We say the holiday tree. So things, whether you like it or not, the things in our own experience with the day have changed in our society of how we celebrate.
Right. Putting Xmas instead of Christmas.
Right.
Well, I think they call it politically correct. And, I think we should all basically really want to share others' traditions.
I do too.
I do
Okay,
too. I
and with
love
St.
that.
Patrick coming up, I'd like to share something with you. This is something that you could probably do with your family. It's something
Okay.
that's very common. We could take an English muffin or a piece of bread, put cheese on it, and if you take a three-sided, you have to look for a three-sided,
okay.
put that on, and a little bit of a stem.
Oh, cute.
And
Oh,
stick
cute.
that under your
I'm going to
It's
do
a
that.
very quick little meal that maybe, just to
I'm gonna-
spruce it up, and it might be a tradition that you or your family would enjoy. Well, thank you very much for watching, and please join us at the barn. We would love to have many more people come, share a nutritious meal, share the good company, and bingo. God bless everybody.